Draw Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Who can teach you? Merrill can. Grab a pencil and a pad. He tells jokes just like your dad. Subscribe. It's on Kazanjian M. Can you draw the Marvel brand, or do you have a shaky hand? Take a swing on this vid. You'll be proud of what you did. Look out. Listen to Kazanjian M. In the chill of the night, streaming all the time, he can teach despite owning a lousy mic. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, you will draw the Spider-Man. Follow the steps, do your best, I promise you will not regress. Thumbs up for the intro, that's what's up. Thank God he doesn't do stand-up. Now you'll hear step one. Yeah. Step 1. Draw the two triangle shapes. Notice that the one on the bottom is slightly larger than the one on the top. Step 2. Add the egg shape to the top triangle. Step 3. Add the three new shapes that you see. Notice how they interact with the other shapes. In step 4, we complete the hand. Notice where all of these shapes fall compared to the bottom triangle. Step 5. Add the shapes to complete the arm. Step 6. Add the shapes on both sides of the head. Step 7. Add the shape for the arm. Step 8. Add the shape for the hand. If you don't like drawing hands, pretend it's one of those turkeys that you used to draw when you were in kindergarten. 2 words of advice. Gobble gobble. Step 9. Give Spider-Man some eyes. Step 10. Complete your Spider-Man by drawing in the leg shapes. Hey, and welcome to the coloring part. This is Merrill, and I hope that you've gotten this far. I hope that it's been easy for you. I am going to be combining markers and colored pencils with this. I like that combination because it gives you a chance to add another layer on top. It gives you a chance to edit, and I'm definitely somebody who likes to edit. There's some people that really can get markers correct the first time. I struggle with that, and I'm just being honest. But the solution for me is color pencils on top, and that's exactly what you're going to see me do. I want to point out to you that I am using bleed-proof paper. What that means is it makes the markers run less. It doesn't mean that the markers aren't going to run. I use Ed Chart Pack markers, which are notorious for bleeding quite a bit, so that could be part of it. The Prismacolor markers that I own, they don't bleed as much, but I like the colors better in the Ed Chart Packs. The colors to Spider-Man are pretty simple. I used a cobalt blue and I used pure red, and both of those are Ed Chart Pack colors. And I kind of differentiated them with the shading markers, which are a set of grays, and they all have different tones to them, and also with the colored pencils. I used pretty much the entire range, like 1 through 10 of the gray markers. You see me using one of them now, and like I said, those markers, the 10 is the darkest. Actually, I'm sorry, the 9 is the darkest, and the 1 is the lightest. The 1 is just, it shades it a little bit. The 9, it's easy to find picture, and I just followed that. This is a request, so I'm answering a request for this, and it's pretty easy when you just use the reference image, and there's really no creativity to that, but it's a good way to practice. It's a good exercise for practicing, getting the colors down. You'll notice that I'm using a micron, pen to do the edges for this drawing, and that helps sharpen things up. If you notice, the bleeding kind of creates a soft edge. In almost every comic book, there's very hard edges. So, I'm making sure that I add the hard edge to it. Now let's dissect what I'm doing right now. I'm adding the shadow in and the legs, and I'm using a reference image that I found on the internet. Keep in mind these markers that I'm using are transparent. There's no, even translucency with it. They're definitely not opaque. You can see through, everything that you do. I think of them like watercolor, just like adding watercolor on top of something. And I'm putting in the shadows accordingly. I was definitely using a reference image for this one, and it's pretty easy to find on the internet. And just using the according color based on the darkness or lightness of the tone, and to do those. I made a decision to only really highlight the webbing on his costume in the hand and in the face because, with the foreshortening, they're the closest, and our eyes can only focus on one area at a time. And, since those are the closest, I'm putting the focus on that. And everything else, I'm going to hint at the webbing, but it's not going to be there. Below the video, I have supply recommendations, and obviously the two that you see me using in this, the Ed Chart Pack markers and the Prismacolor pencils are going to be in the supply recommendations. But I think they work really well together, and whenever I do illustration, and you can see this in pretty much any of my videos that I have color in, I combine these two, and I've had a lot of success with that. So it might be a somewhat expensive investment at first, but they last you for a really, really long time. These markers really don't run out. Just remember you want to use these in combination with the bleedless paper, because if you put them on regular paper, they're going to go like all over the place. So in a hangout recently, I've gotten some really good questions. It's like, okay, Merrill, you've taught us how to draw from observation now. Who do you recommend in terms of teaching people how to draw from their mind? And I've actually gotten a few books that I want to recommend. I saw a few comments in my last video, and I didn't mean to give the impression that I made the process for drawing the head from all angles. I researched quite a number of people, and if I made it sound like that, I didn't mean that at all. One of the people, the name that kept coming up that I definitely did research is Loomis, Andrew Loomis. He's a great person for learning to draw from your mind. Books that I recommend: Creative Illustration, Drawing the Head and Hands. These are the names of the books. Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. That's probably my favorite. Fun with the Pencil is kind of a little bit more geared towards beginners. Successful Drawing and The Eye of the Painter. Those are all fantastic books by Andrew Loomis that I highly recommend. Another guy that I found to be a good instructor on that, his name is Ron Tyner. And, basically, he's got a great book, called Figure Drawing Without a Model. That's definitely one to have in your library if you want to learn to draw from your head. I also recommend anatomy. So there's Bridgman is the best for that. George Bridgman, and I know he's been recommended by Cartoon Block. There's two books, let's see, Constructive Anatomy and The Human Machine, that are fantastic for that. I guess I'll put the book list below in the video description for anybody who's interested in that, but you really need to know human proportion. You need to know anatomy, and somebody like Loomis will teach you how to, break the shapes down, the shapes of the human body down into simpler forms, so that you can make poses like this on your own. So those are my recommendations for that. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about wrapping this up, because we've got about 2 minutes left in the video. Did you know that you can combine, put marker on top of the colored pencil. I know that you can combine colored pencil over the marker, but you can actually use the marker as a blender for the colored pencil, and I do that quite often. Now, you don't want to damage the tip, and you definitely can if you don't clean it, but the alcohol in the middle of the marker is something that will spread or disperse the color from the colored pencil, and I find that you get if you have a blender, if you get a colorless blender, that's a great way to do it. And if you put the colored pencil on like really, really chunky, you could use a paintbrush even to spread it out. Another thing that I did, actually without the marker, but I've just painted with colored pencil, just by putting either liquid with it and putting a paintbrush on top of it, or you could even do that with turpentine. So you have a few different options if you want to mess with like the chunkiness of the colored pencil. You kind of have to learn the properties of each color to the colored pencil, though, because there's some that are really opaque, there's some that's transparent, and you do that more with the opaque colors than the transparent colors, but you can mix them. Hope you gathered that. That's kind of a little bit complex, and I promised that I would keep this easy, but my point for this, you want to experiment. I mean, you can't exactly do what I did with adding the color on. I can demonstrate it for you, but each artist has to do it his or her own way, in a way that makes sense to them. So we have less than a minute left. I'll ask you guys, if you haven't done so already, if you could please hit the thumbs up button on the video. That is, if you liked it. And you can always request a tutorial in the comments section below. But I think the best place is on my Facebook page, and I definitely have that down in the comments section. So check that out. Make sure that you like me on Facebook. I try to interact with people there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was a big help for you. And, I'll be answering questions below. And just so you know, for future reference, as soon as I put out a video, I always try to answer the comments. So, put them today, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.